What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Randy. I am joined by the wonderful two-time castaway Bruce Perreault, and Eric Abraham is going to be joining us from season 41 as well. He's backstage right now, but he walked away somewhere, so I'm waiting for him to come back. But Bruce, brother, you are somewhere in the world right now. Where are you, my friend?
I am in an airport right now. Hopefully you can hear me okay, but I'm in an airport right now getting ready to go to Orlando, Florida to watch my daughter play some amazing softball. And then just to do it again next week and go right back down to Orlando so I can have a great time watching my son play. But this week, I'm getting ready to go down there. It's 45 degrees outside right now, but it's 80 in Florida, so I'm waiting. Oh, let's go.
80 degrees, man. We just got to like 50, 60 here in Indianapolis. So like I know how sweet that is going to be. Actually, we had Anthony as well. Is Bruce at the gym? So that answers your question. Bruce is always at the gym. Okay, we got Abraham. Let's see if we get Abraham in here.
What's at the airport?
Abraham, you got us?
He's talking to somebody. He has his headset on.
He'll have us in a second. So we are here to talk about, let's see, Brian is back with us. Hey, guys, glad to be back. You guys can join us in our Ancient Voices chat. Thank you for being here. Quick little PDA. Our Instagram is down at the moment, so sorry we couldn't remind you guys to come jump on and join us. We are working through that. We're going to figure it out. We're going to, take the next step we need to take. Everything will be fine. We're not freaking out about it. So just to let you guys know, if you're like, oh, why? We didn't block anybody, right? The reason you can't find us is not because we blocked you. Abraham, you got us?
Yes, I do. Are we live?
We are live.
We are live, baby.
How we doing now? We just
hey, we were on time. There's multiple reasons we went live. One reason is Bruce is in the airport right now, so wanted to go ahead and get started. Second reason, Amy just added in the chat. Hope you're feeling better, Randy. I'm not really feeling better. My voice is very bad. I have a horrific cough. We're gonna get through it. It's gonna be a shorter podcast today. This is gonna be the one podcast that I let Abraham do all the talking.
Look, I'm fresh off vacation too, man. My powers is up strong. Just put the
I'll try to mute my mic every time I cough. I'm sorry I did not there, but yeah, it's a pretty bad cough and it hurts to speak. So I'm going to do my best here. But last night, gentlemen, we had the premiere of Survivor 48. So right off the bat, I want to get your guys's reactions to the premiere, how you thought it went, maybe how you enjoyed viewing it last night. Abraham, I'll go with you first. How did we like the premiere?
Yeah, you know what? Great premiere. You know what? The most touching part of this premiere for me was with Joe and Evie. That was almost a throwback to the old Survivor, where we're gonna bond on the first day, and I want to see them ride and die to the last three. I want to see that two just ride and die through, because we don't find that kindred ship in the new era Survivor. Everybody's kind of like trying to go for everything and everything else. But they showed some real emotion and real commitment to the game and playing together. And then, I mean, we saw some accidents. We saw some shoulders get out, get that shoulder back. So apparently there was more to that than it was actually seen on TV. So I had to get it popped back in. But a good start to the season. Just chaos, confusion, a little bit of steaminess at the voting. So a great start to this season. I'm looking forward to see how this is going to pan out.
Oh, Bruce, do you share the sentiments with Abraham here?
I do. But one of the things that I love the most about it was the beginning. All right, was the raw emotion from people, because I was watching that and I was thinking back to when I was told I was going to be on for the first time. I didn't record myself, any of that stuff. It wasn't any of that. It was just basically told me over the phone. I got my message from my casting person, and I was just over the world, jumping up and down. Nobody was even home. I got to tell everybody when they came home. Like, it was great. And even the second time when I was told I was going back, like, that wasn't recorded, but I remember that, and it made me just think back to my own experience. And I started to tear up, ain't gonna lie, because that emotion from those people, they went through a lot to get there. And for them to be, and even when Jeff was like, welcome, when he says welcome to Survivor 48, people don't realize something. Like, you've not spoken to any of the cast members at all. At all. This is the first time they're hearing your voice, and then you get to be elated. You get to jump up and down, all that good stuff. Like, because it's official. When you're on those boats, they can literally stop the boat and take you off with somebody else on. Like, until they say, what Jeff says, "Welcome to Survivor 48." That's when you know you're official. So those two moments were probably the best moments that I had of the show.
I know for me, Bruce, I mean, to add on that a little bit, when we had to climb up the side of the boat, the first thing I said, don't fall. Don't fall back in the boat. Don't get back up there. And we got up there and we got on those masks. It's so surreal to be there. You almost like, it's almost like you're looking at yourself and you're there, but you can't believe you're there until the challenge either starts or he asks you a question. And I thoroughly think this cast as a whole has embraced what it is to be on Survivor, and they just went at it. I was like,
they lost it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. They were loud.
It was a very loud reaction right off the gate. We've got people in our chat. Let's see. Amy adds in, all of America loves Joe today. Hollow says, Bruce. Anthony says, great premiere. Hollow also adds in, I think this will be a good season. It looks like they all came to play. And then Brian says, great premiere for my first Bryson win event. Yes, they are always amazing. And then Abraham, Georgette's got us. Can Abe turn up his volume? You might need your volume up a little bit. Yeah, he'll work on that. Thank you, Georgette. Thank you for letting us know. Here's how I felt about the premiere.
Here we go.
So my brother was watching it for the first time ever. Like, he's never been a Survivor fan like I have. He's seen episodes here and there, but he decided this season he was going to actually watch it live, watch it play out. And he texted me and he said, I was bored throughout. And so I'm not going to be negative Nancy here, but I told him it'll get better. I think in terms of, it was a good premiere. We saw some great storylines play out. There was some interesting twists that came out. Like, we'll get to the Beware Advantage and that kind of new twist of looking for these symbols around the island, which I did enjoy. I thought it was just, it's a 2-hour premiere. There's a lot of filler, which is a lot of get to know the castaways. And so on one side, if you're really into hearing the stories and getting to know who these people truly are, like most of the fandom is, I will say most people want to hear their stories and stuff. You're going to love this premiere because you already brought it up, Abraham, that between Evie and, or how do you say her name? Oh, Bruce, you're muted.
I always want to say Eva because I have a friend of mine. She's from Poland, and it's a Polish name, and I've always pronounced it Eva, and I believe that's how she pronounces it. And I've actually spoken with her and had a conversation.
So I like got accent.
Eva,
you know, are we saying it's Eva? Eva.
Yeah. So
potato.
Yeah, that interaction between Eva and Joe. I think Mitch. This is probably the last time I'm gonna say it or try to say it. If you didn't hear, I had a speech impediment growing up, which I could not say my R's. That's difficult when your name is Randy. So we always joke about it. I went on the radio one time and I introduced myself and I said Wandy because I couldn't say my R's. And so all the way up until high school, I had to attend speech classes to learn how to kind of say R's. And even to this day, when I introduce myself to my tables, I'll be like, hey, my name's Randy. And they'll go, Brandon? No, Randy. Brand. I'm like, no. So I connect with Mitch on that level. And his initial reaction where Jeff is letting him, he's the first person he goes to. And Mitch is like, look, I saw Chrissy play back in Survivor Amazon. Love that we get flashbacks. This is what Survivor should be doing.
Flashbacks are awesome.
Yes. Pay homage to your past. Act like you're this big thing because you are. We should see more of that. I never would have thought that we would be seeing Chrissy, of all people, in 2025. And Mitch talks about how that meant so much to him because she went out there and played being someone who's deaf and did pretty well in the Amazon. So there are those touching moments this episode. But if you're someone like me, and I'm part of the minority, and this is probably the biggest red flag about me being a Survivor fan, I'm a very game bot heavy guy. I want to see strategy. I want to see game moves and stuff. Outside of the connections, which I don't really connect in these emotional moments, like they don't do it for me like it does for other people. I don't really care. It was just kind of slow. It was a little slow, and I thought the vote out at the end of the episode was a run of the mill vote. Like I thought, like you could see it coming. You could see which way they were going.
I got to disagree, Randy. I mean,
okay, shoot.
Here's the thing: everybody wants something to happen right away.
Yes.
I want to get to know a little bit about how is Joe thinking, how he wants to play. I want them to tell me how he thinks he wants to play, and then I want to see him play. But you got 2 hours. We don't even have the 60 minutes we had before. We got 2 hours to develop these players. And the one you say, hey, I'm in the way to root for, I want to root against. And that's the game of Survivor. We're going to have the ones we're going to be rooting against. Or we're going to have a person we think has been painted as the villain. But you don't get that in 30 seconds. It takes a minute for it. 90 minutes to me was great because we got great character development. We see what Kyle goes on the adventure. We see how hard he is on himself. We're saying, okay, how is he going to play? At the same time, somebody's trying to blindside him. And we see all these players trying to mesh together. And like Bruce said, we don't speak to each other for a week. Well, we didn't speak to each other for almost 3 weeks. So when you speak for the first time, even though you've seen somebody, you still don't know who they are. We didn't even know what they sound like. We didn't know what they looked like. And they had on masks. So I like the character development. I like now next episode, you want to see a little more fire, which I thought we had fire at the vote. I thought we had fire between them talking about he was Sagittarius or Leos or something, and then they was
the air signs. Libras.
They were looking up at the stars. They were watching the stars.
I was like, okay, but I don't know what that's gonna mean. But I do like the fact that even in this finding of this idol on this episode they have never done that before. I was like, oh, they done went high tech. Now you got to try to figure it out. Then you see who playing together. You see who's playing the game. I mean, it was so many things going on that made the episode worth watching to see what was going to happen next. And then I saw that sled. I started shaking.
Yeah, he started getting.
Ooh, that shit.
He started seeing the past. The headlights turned on and everything. Let's see. Jay adds in now. Randy, hard disagree. This premiere was the best of the new era so far, in my opinion. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's why, it's okay to disagree. We all have our own opinions, and I've heard a lot of people who love this premiere. I've had some of my friends who I said personally, I was bored, and I rewatched it before going live here because I was on the phone with a lot of people. You guys know I was dealing with stuff last night over what happened to us. And so there was a huge chunk of the episode that I missed, and it was actually that, the part with Eva and Joe. That part of the episode I didn't see. So I rewatched it right before going live so I can maybe appreciate it more. And I saw there were some great stories. Just wasn't for me. But let's get into the grand scheme of things. What happened in this episode, these big moments. Bruce, I'm going to start with you. We start with that first challenge, okay? And don't be mad at me. I'm going to say this to you, but someone said it during our pre-show yesterday. They said, I have a feeling that someone is going to pull a Bruce, and they're going to come out because we were talking about if anyone's going to get taken out of the game. They didn't, although we did have an issue right away diving into that mud. Immediately, Kevin is complaining about his shoulder. He's saying, ow, my arm. We see him struggling throughout the entire challenge, sitting kind of on the ground. He says, my arm is in pain. Were you kind of worried for Kevin here? Because, the moment you hear someone say that they got hurt, oh, that's an easy target right there.
Let me tell you something real quick. When you're sitting there and you hurt yourself, and if you don't finish out your challenge, I got nothing for you. But I'm going to say this. When he said that he hurt his shoulder, I got you. I think it was when he pulled the net up. He might hurt his shoulder, but then he was going through it. He finished out as much as he could. He did his job, which is good. Thank you very much. The editing made it probably seem like it was a little bit more than it was. Because if it was dislocated, look what happened with Matt from 44. He dislocated his shoulder and he was in a sling and the whole thing else. So he wasn't in his sling, so he just genuinely hurt himself. So you see that he's okay. Obviously, afterwards, he continued on and he did what he needed to do. As far as like when I heard that, I thought that to myself too. I'm like, oh shit, no medevac. I don't want to see a medevac. I don't want to see, Dr. Will coming out and helping someone. And it didn't come to that, so that made me very happy. not because I want to keep the crown of dude that gets his head blasted open and hurt in the first episode, the first 5 minutes of the show. But I just want to make sure that he's okay. So he's good. He did the things he needed to do. But I actually was on Twitter and there were a bunch of people. Oh no, Bruce! Oh no! I'm like, shut up. Like it is what it is.
Let it go. It's been years, and I guess this was actually something that happened. There's a deleted scene they didn't include. Kevin apparently dislocated his shoulder and he passed out. Medical had to pop his shoulder back in. I don't know. In the preview for this season, we literally saw a scene where Jeff is like, "Stop, medical." I don't know if that just got cut out of the show, but I did hear people say, I think it was in an interview where Jeff might have said it on his On Fire podcast.
It's funny because I remember him saying, I remember the clips to lead up to the show. I remember Jeff saying that, but he didn't say it in this episode because I was waiting for it. When they were carrying the blocks, I thought someone got hurt when they were carrying the blocks. Because everybody was falling. It was what they made it look like. So that's what I thought, and I was expecting that, and it never came.
Well, supposedly, Lauren reported earlier he did dislocate his shoulder, and they did pop it back in. And he said, "Go ahead and pop it back in. Can I continue to play?" Here's the thing: if they pop your shoulder back in and it feels halfway decent, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna play. You're not gonna.
Not me. I dislocated my shoulder. They had to put me under to get my shoulder back in because
it's because you like butter on a hot day, buddy. You butter on a hot day.
I can't. Oh my God.
Me and Joe, me and Bruce, pop that joker back in. I'll be okay. Now, Matt fell off of a mountain, and that's why he didn't play no more. He fell off a mountain. So
that was his own doing. I will add this, but Abraham, Kevin was able to bounce back because the Purple Tribe, who looked very dominant this episode, Loggy, dominated the opening challenge. They dominated the immunity challenge. They look like the tribe to beat. And we'll get to them a little bit later. But we know they're not going to do Savvy and Sweat anymore. They cut that out a few seasons ago. And now it's this new challenge where you have to battle someone else for your tribe supplies. We saw it last season with TK and Asia. And they had to battle it out. And it kind of created this fun moment where TK has the key and she's trying to jump over the back of him and get it. And this season, it was completely new, which I love. Like, make it something new. It's kind of new, but it pays homage to the past. And it's basically get water from the ocean and fill a glass bucket. Fill a glass bucket. Hey, yeah, he's in the airport right now. It's fine. It's fine. So no, there was some fun aspects to this, like the rule of get this pot down, whatever means necessary. You can chop it down, you can hit it down, whatever you got to do. But we end up seeing Kevin bounce back because it's Kevin versus Kyle, my winner pick. And Kevin was able to come out on top. Who knows if he would have if Kyle wasn't kind of careless and breaks the glass. But what did you think about Kevin bouncing back so quickly? One is tribe supplies, essentially.
He jaked it. He jaked it. Jake, I hope you're listening. He jaked it.
The difference is Jake didn't help someone else win. Kyle, what a classy move to be like, yo, I'm not just going to sit here. Let me at least help you get your stuff done.
Here's the thing. Now let's think about Survivor gameplay. I'll play, out last. That simple move, when he goes to emerge and he's still there, guess what? He's going to remember, hey, you know what? He didn't have to help me finish filling this up. He came over and filled it up. Now, what your players that don't ever played it, that haven't played the game, what you're gonna realize is, Bruce could test to this. Them black pots is heavy. It's not a light pot where you can just throw it. No, it is heavy.
It can't be that heavy.
Okay.
It's a cast iron pot. It is a cast iron pot. That some bitch weighs a good amount.
40 pounds.
Okay.
40, 50 pounds.
I remember walking it down to the water to clean. Actually, no. Just walking it down the water, put a little bit of water in it so when we boil the crabs, we have the salt from the water to help the crab taste better. And the coconut, I'm telling you, that thing, it was a pain in the butt. It was heavy.
Y'all don't understand. And that's how he ended up. I wish they didn't use glass because it was just a possibility that glass would have gotten broken because it's heavy. You're awkward. You're tired. And he smashed it, but.
He looked like he barely hit it too. Like he didn't.
It's a heavy pot
because, like Jay said right here. Let's see. Or no, Brian, excuse me. Brian said Kyle pulled an accidental Jelinski.
No. Jelinski would always be known for throwing away the hourglass. Stop that shit.
Yeah, he threw it. That's the thing with Kyle is he filled it up, just let the pot swing, and like the moment the pot hit it, it burst. And I felt really bad for Kyle. But like part of it is because Kyle's my winner pick, like I'm rooting him on. But the other half of it, he just seems like a super stand-up guy. Like immediately when he was like, let me help you out. I mean, gentlemen, Bruce Abraham, I want to ask you guys, I wouldn't do it. I'm telling you right now. No, I'd be sitting on the sand and I'd be so mad and I would just be watching him filled up. Like there's some maturity there. You know,
but you playing the game of Survivor. Why would you take an opportunity? It wasn't going to cost you anything.
I'm just kind of lazy. I'm not going to do the extra work.
By going over there, I'm telling you, we see them two at merge. They already got a little bond. They make the merge. And
how many people do you think he went back and told that he did that? Probably no one, because he's hoping that he sees him at the merge and then they can get back together. And like Abraham just said, oh yeah, like I remember when they got that unspoken thing right now that's going on, and then they'll help each other out. They form a little bit of an alliance. They bring in their people together, and then maybe if each of them have 3 people on their side, right? So now they have 3 people on their side. So that's 6, 7, 8 people together potentially voting to just take everybody else out and then eventually start chopping at each other. That is a beautiful thing. So what he did yes, he had a baby hissy fit. The hissy fit was over. And once it was over, he went over and helped. That'll carry weight should he make it to the next one.
It should definitely help him out if Kyle and Kevin get to the merge together, because even Kevin said, wow, that just shows me he's a stand-up guy. Instantly, Kevin is feeling like, I feel like that's someone I can trust because of how much of a stand-up guy he is. Wonderful, wonderful Survivor move. But I will say that once Kyle got back and kind of had to own up to, hey guys, I didn't get our supplies, we instantly saw some friction between, not really friction, but it was between Kyle and, oh my gosh, sorry, names are throwing me off immediately. It was between Kyle and David. David immediately.
It wasn't David. David did have.
No, it was David. We saw a confessional from David, and he said, "Yo, I wouldn't have come back and lost. You know, I would have won."
Well, that's not against. That's just being cockiness by yourself, not knowing what had happened, because he didn't tell him he broke it accidentally. So you're just being cocky, saying if it was me, I would have gotten it done. But at his size and his awkwardness of swinging a pot, he could have just as easily broke that pot. But what something David did say was, Kyle doesn't look like a liar. I can see that.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was getting to. He kind of built, it was initial tension, but he kind of built that trust immediately. It seemed like Kyle was able to come back and immediately kind of integrate himself into the tribe. It didn't seem like there was too much loss. And I wanted to ask you guys, since you've actually been out there and played Survivor, in that instance, how easy is it for someone to get into the good graces? You know, someone who's been away on a journey or whatever. How easy is it to be like, Bruce, this is a perfect question. You see where I'm going?
Abraham, just do me a favor. Shut your mic off for a second, because you can't talk about going home.
I didn't go to work.
Yeah, you did. You went home.
So Ponderosa, you hater.
I was there 15 days. I know. All right. So when I came back, I know that when I came back from my journey, I told the truth. I had to, because it wasn't like it was, you know, like I came back with anything. I didn't come back with anything. I came back with the ability to tell them exactly what happened. And me not telling basically any lies during the game, I was hoping that people would understand that is exactly what I was saying would exactly happen. So I think that Kyle came back, Kyle explaining the things that happened, and he more than likely told them he broke the pot. He more than likely, you know, just let them know what was going on. And with him doing that, he's in the good graces. But for my final pick to be able to turn around and say, I would have won that, I would have said that. Like, I would have been like, no, I would have won that shit. But
yeah. It's confident.
It's just the confidence. But then he also turned it around and said, you know, he sounds like a stand-up guy because he explained it properly. There was no wishy-washiness. Once you do that, then you're in the good graces and you go from there. As soon as you start saying, well, you know what happened, blah, 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 that's when you're screwed. That's when people just don't believe you at all.
I like the way people try to describe their game. Like, I'm going to play it this way. And you get out there and you're like, you're forgetting this. It's not what you think it is. No matter what you think it is, when you get there, it is nothing like that. And David probably is going to be a good player, but David is a big guy. And coconut and water is not a substitute for real food. So we'll see.
What do you say about water? What do you say about water?
They don't like
I
water.
hate water. It's not chocolate milk, bro. I understand. It's not chocolate milk. I got you. But you need to drink that water.
Water's like my go-to, so I could not.
No. First of all, you're thinking the water that you get at home is your go-to. We're talking about drinking water out of a well. It's not your go-to. You know what? Go ahead and get out there. Some things you got to see for yourself, and that ain't the go-to water. So it's going to be even harder for him to drink it.
Yeah, no, there was some. Well, this is a perfect segue into the next big moment that I wanted to talk about. This is a premiere episode, so we kind of touched base on. There's all these storylines that are playing out. We're getting to know everyone. We've talked several times about the connection between Eva and Joe and how, she was able to come out as, I'm autistic essentially. And they had that connection. I wanted to ask you, gentlemen, and then I'm going to get off screen really fast and go get a cough drop because I'm really struggling. But with all these storylines, we saw kind of Thomas interact with the guys and say, I never would have guessed as a gay man in a million years that I would come out here and have an all-male alliance and join forces with these guys. And they started the California Bros Alliance. It was him.
No, California Girls. No, when the California Bros.
California Girls, my bad. Shaheen.
California Girls.
Wait, who was it? It was Shaheen, Joe, and Thomas, all because they have that California background. We saw all these great connections. So out of all these storylines that we hear, you could even throw out the steak one about how do you like your steaks? I just have to ask that real fast.
Medium rare all day.
Yeah, medium rare.
I don't like steak. So
Randy, man.
What's worse, not liking steak or liking a steak medium well like Charity?
Psychopath. I completely agree with Kyle. Psychopath. If you get a medium well steak, you're a psychopath.
If you get it seared on both sides, it's not. I mean, I can deal with that, but really, you just eating raw meat, so I'm not with that.
But okay, I'll open the floor. I'm gonna go get a cough drop real quick. I do apologize for everyone. I'm really trying. Abraham, we'll start with you because it looks like Bruce is in line really fast. But what storyline stuck out to you from last night's episode in terms of getting to meet people? Who stuck out to you?
Well, again, everybody wanted to develop their own connection. The California Girls had their connection. We see Kyle and they're forming a connection. We see we see Bruce is wilding out. We see Joe. We see Eva. We see Shy. I mean, we see Cedric and Shy and their connection, and then how everybody's kind of figuring out where they fit at. To me, it was a lot of that, which I like to see because people don't realize that we don't get to talk to each other beforehand and we don't get to communicate any kind of way. So when we get to the islands and we start learning each other, and I think what's his name? He was a good example. He said,
Sincere says who shot say. I believe it's pronounced say, yeah.
Say. Thomas said he's right. He said, I'm just gonna sit back and see where I fit. And just listen. Sometimes it's best just to listen and just let everybody else and just see where you kind of fit at and then go with it. But again, this honeymoon phase of episode 1, it don't last that long. You only got 26 days.
Yeah, very true. Bruce, who stuck out to you, brother?
Well, it just comes down to we're looking at a situation where everybody's brand new. Everybody's chilling. Everybody's hanging out. Nobody's really saying the things that are on their mind. Everybody says yes to what's going on. So I really don't have, even from my own experience, I don't have a really good sense of any divides or the strong personalities are there, but there's nothing that's telling me that I'm going to lean towards either side to say, okay, this is going to work this way, this is going to work that way. I like episode 1 just because I get to learn and know who everybody is. Episode 2 and 3, that conversation didn't change with me because it's easier for me at that point in time to say, okay, now I can see where this person's team's going. The interaction with, was it Eva and Joe?
Yeah.
Joe? Yes, that was good. I liked that a lot because it made me personally think about people in my life and said, okay, that was cool. I teared up. My wife was on the couch. She was all teared up. Like, it was a good moment for Survivor and for humanity as a whole. And then just kind of go from there.
Hey, I got to add, Bruce, and we've got some comments about the whole Eva and Joe situation. With his backpack right now, he kind of looks like he's like going to middle school class or something, right?
Look,
I'm dragging my feet. My mom wants me to take my lunch.
Season 50, he's going back to Survivor. Season 50.
We got a few comments.
That would be so nice.
Adrienne added in earlier the scene with Joe and Eva, where Eva is explaining about the autism to him and the coping mechanism, literally made me, as an autistic person, so heartwarming to see being represented properly on screen. It was truly the most emotional moment of the episode. And Jay adds in, Joe was the perfect person for Eva to choose as an ally. Great read by her. And that's another thing. Someone said earlier, you know, Joe captured America's heart last night. He stuck out to me too. You could see it the moment we saw his video where they said, hey, welcome to Survivor 48. How he breaks down crying and says, you don't understand what this is going to mean to my kids. And then when Eva, when Eva was talking to him, and Joe once again kind of broke down during a confessional, and for him to be like, you don't understand how much it means for her to tell me this. And at this point, I don't care if it ends up blowing up my game. I'm going to do whatever she needs me to do for her to make it easy for her. And if that ends up costing me my game, so be it. And that just shows you the type of guy that Joe is. And I really think this season that Joe is going to be America's favorite. Like, I think each and every week, Joe's going to be that one person that everybody is rooting on throughout the season.
Yeah, even meeting Eva in person and talking to her in person. I mean, she's a great young lady. We were talking about Atlanta, a couple of spots in Atlanta because she was flying. She went to college there, and even talking to her in person is great. So I just want to see. It's unique to see a bond form this early in Survivor. So now we want to see where it takes them.
Yeah.
You know, so no matter what it is, where it takes them.
And then right here, this comment from Sincere. Even Joe's moment was one of the most emotional moments amongst Survivor for me in general. I already had liked Joe preseason, but now I'm rooting for Eva. One moment won me over. And then kind of jokes in, Joe has the power to bring back Sia, which is hilarious. I mean, Joe would just sweep it, but could you just imagine a final three where two of the people in the final three are Joe and Eva? That would be an incredible story. All right, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue this chaotic podcast that we got going on right now.
Bruce waving to?
I'm sorry. I know a bunch of people. Let me tell you something. I'm standing now. My daughter plays softball. She's D2. One of the up and coming stars for the D1 softball pitchers in all the country. Her name is Alyssa Toomey. She's absolutely awesome. She plays for Providence College, and it's D1 Big East, man. She's going to be killing us. Keep an eye out for her this year. But she's my daughter's best friend, and she's standing right in front of me. So,
hey, that's amazing. Yeah, hello. Hey, best of luck with the games.
Alyssa, come say hi to the world. They want to say hi. There she is.
Is she going to do it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Hey, it's your iconic catchphrase. That is amazing. Hey, best of luck to them. This is one of my favorite podcasts. You have me choking over here. I can't breathe. You have Bruce at an airport right now. Abraham just got back from vacation. This is Survivor now. This is what you're going to get. We're here to break down Survivor. We're going to give you our authentic selves, and that's what you're getting in these authentic moments right now. But we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will talk all about the Beware advantage and what led to Stephanie's elimination. And we'll show you guys the results of our fantasy contest after week 1. And I don't think Abraham's going to be happy. We'll be right back.
Think you're the most knowledgeable Survivor superfan? Well, you can put that to the test with our Fantasy Survivor game. Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. We provide fantasy football style games for your favorite shows like Survivor and many more. We also have bracket style elimination challenges. Set your picks once for the whole season to see how your prediction skills fared. And don't forget to check out the season extras like contestant info, where you can see all the bios of each contestant, and our scoring recaps that are published each episode. Download the Bracketology mobile app or play on your computer at fantasy.bracketology.tv. It's entirely free to play, and you can win some awesome prizes. Good luck.
Gentlemen, the Beware Advantage is back this season. It's something that has become part of the new era in general. And this season, there's a twist. So we saw Say work on it throughout the entire episode, and we saw a lot of Say. She got more confessionals in this episode, the premiere episode, than Natalie White did the entire season of Samoa.
Hey, look.
That is insane. And we saw Say wanting to form alliances early, and a few people immediately were like, whoa, she is trying to play too hard, too fast. But Say made it known, Abraham, someone on your fantasy team,
Yes.
Say made it known she's not here to get to know people right off the bat. She understands she's going to have to, but she's here to play. Starts an early alliance with Cedric and Justin. Sorry, I have the names up so I don't. And I believe Kevin is part of that group too, as like a 4 alliance, which is what she was looking for. And I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts, because Abraham, you're always Mr. Don't share your idols. She finds this kind of scroll that is very confusing. She can't figure it out. She's got numbers. She has scrolls. And then she's got these symbols all over the island, and she starts piecing it together, uses her alliance to help her unlock it because she doesn't want to lose her vote at the first tribal council, which they end up going to that tribal council. And then she ends up getting the idol. What did you think about this Beware Advantage? I kind of found it fun. Like, these symbols were kind of a fun thing to put together.
Let me tell you, like I did Bruce during the season. I would text Bruce during the season, and I text Cedric. I was like, oh, so we starting off with a cryptograph at the beginning. and Randy, you're correct. I would have
figured it out.
You're right. I always say don't share. But let me tell you something. Say realize what she knows, and some of us know math ain't our thing, and these puzzles are not our thing. There would probably have been no way by herself in a timely manner of 90 minutes that she would have figured out, because you had to put together the fact that these symbols meant something. Then you had to figure out what letter in the actual color of the animal that was identified, what letter was in there. And if you remember, Cedric is the one that figured out what the word was. So in this situation, you got to remember, who do I bring together to help me that I know is going to be a part of my push forward? So I thought it was a great idea on this one.
Say turned into Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Everybody helped her out, and she's like, I found it. I got it. I'm so smart. Listen, you were smart enough to understand, and listen, this is game say. Say, I can't wait to meet you, but this is game say. For game say, you're smart enough to understand that you could not get that on your own. I'm sitting in my bedroom folding clothes, packing myself to get ready to go, and I'm just like, how's that going to work? Like, I didn't understand it myself. Well, I would have done the same exact thing. Ask for help to someone that looks extremely smart. And Cedric, he's a surgeon. He's extremely smart. It looks like he can do any kind of puzzle in the world. But I just got to keep going back to Say, and just you got to pump those brakes a little bit, because Lord knows, so they could have taken you out last night. From the way you were scheming and plotting at the very beginning like that, they could have taken you out, and you weren't willing to use that, because again, ego then comes in the way, aka someone that knows ego got in the way, didn't play the idol. She could have been the first person voted out with an idol week 1. So it was close.
I thought,
in my estimation,
no one targeted her. Like, for kind of having a public idol, I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
Sincere adds in, this season has a lot of foreshadowing. Stephanie saying, let's see whose game works out better, the slow game versus the fast game, ends up being the fast game. And then Say saying she can't control her mouth, it'll bite her later. And then Jay says, Say 8, saying it now, she's going to come back for 50. They gave her 21 confessionals for a reason. 21. That's a record. So she'll definitely be back. She dominated that first episode last night.
I'm sorry. I just have to interject about something really, 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 really quick.
Don't
Did
do it.
anybody see Jeff Probst eat it yesterday?
Did
Oh.
he?
Yes. It was actually my wife saw it on Twitter and I rewound it and I looked at it. It was when it was during the immunity challenge when the sled was going, like they were pushing it across and moving the bean bags. Jeff comes running in the screen. It was quick. And he eats it, and then you see him getting back up again. Like,
Oh, I can go back and look at it now.
Oh, I'm definitely going back and looking at it.
but I felt bad. I'm like, no, he's like 65 years old.
No,
Actually.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. And here's the reason why. He didn't tell me how heavy them sandbags was, and he didn't tell me how much that sleigh weighed. So a little bit of ground time for him. Thank you, because he don't
There
tell
you
us
go.
anything, and it hurts.
Then that makes sense that you're a little bit of.
Yeah, it hurts.
Gentlemen, let's get to the vote out already and kind of talk about what happened to Stephanie's game. We talked about this beware advantage that Say ends up getting. Most of the tribe knows about it. You kind of have a few people playing in the middle, like Kevin's one of the people in the middle. Were you expecting Stephanie to be the first one voted out last night? I knew it the moment she played her shot in the dark, because I was like, you're not playing your shot in the dark unless you really feel like you're going home. There was some tension at tribal council between Say and Stephanie, where Say is basically saying that Stephanie's not playing the game. You know, some people are out here just to look at the stars and experience it. Some of us are actually out here to play. And then Stephanie's like, hold up. I'm telling you right now, I can look at the stars and play the game of Survivor. I can, enjoy this experience and play. And that really connected me, especially to Bruce. Bruce, we saw you, especially on your second go around, how you said, look, I'm out here to experience this. I want to truly experience it. I almost lost it last time. I want to experience this, but you were still out there playing. You were still playing a very strong game. So which side were you on here between this like Say and Stephanie argument?
Well, I was more on the Say side of it. I'm sorry, the Stephanie side of it, not the Say side. Say just seems a little bit like a little too much of what I wouldn't have wanted to deal with, just because he was too aggressive, too quick, come on, like me, I wasn't even thinking about any of that comment. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have thought about strategically going into like who we should think about voting off. But we're not losing anything. We're having a conversation. You're not even going to tribal council. You're not even reward challenges. All you lost. Like who gives a shit about a reward challenge? But the thing is that when I went out there and I was looking at the stars and doing my thing and reflecting on the day and my being there and my kids and my wife and stuff like that, that was nice time. That was my time. It was when I was by myself. That's when I was doing it. I wasn't doing it in front of everybody else. And if I was doing it in front of everybody else, they were all in the same mind space that I was in. So big picture is that Stephanie, yes, she got voted off. I know why. I have a couple of feelings as to why. But to say that someone's not playing the game, they're not playing the way that you want them to play, doesn't dictate how they should play their game. So,
yeah, they was on the air sign. They were talking about air and astrology, and I was like, okay. Where Stephanie made her biggest mistake is she got on the puzzle, and she didn't pay attention to the puzzle. She wasn't focused. She was looking at their puzzle, and they were ahead. So they went in that and they were ahead. And then as she was playing a puzzle, she was distracted. You can hear Cedric in the background saying, "Hey, grab a piece, grab a piece." They only had like 4 pieces left. Now you got 2 people working the puzzle. You got 4 pieces left. Come on now, we can put paint together. But in that time it took them in editing, probably the other tribe caught up. Okay, so that would be my first knock. How did you address that? That part about taking time to experience where you're at. First of all, if you're looking at the stars, there's nothing going on in Fiji. It's the middle of the night. We're standing out there. We've probably been out there for 10 hours anyway. And we're just enjoying the moment at the time, because there's a time where gameplay is not going to happen anyway, because half the tribe is asleep and you're just up because either you're thinking about something or you're looking at the tranquility of the situation. So I don't fault her for that part, because that's anybody. And everybody's going to take that moment somewhere in the game of Survivor. I know when I saw Danny out there and he won a challenge and they found out it was his dad's birthday or something like that, and how he played that challenge. So it's everybody gets their own moment. But if you can't do the puzzle, don't volunteer for the puzzle. And if that's the only thing you have to do and you mess that up, everybody's looking for a little bit of a reason to vote you out. Now, Kevin and them, they made the edit look like they was going to vote against Say. No, this is a perfect time to blind tie Say. But wait a minute. Say came to you and said, "Hey, I found this idol. I want you to be a part of this." I always tell everybody the game has 2 parts. before the merge and after the merge. You got to get to the merge before you start eliminating folks. So it wasn't a great loss that Stephanie got voted out now. So we won't know that until episode 2 anyway.
That's correct. Yeah, episode 2 is going to give us a lot of info. Randy, we can't hear you.
I muted myself for the cough. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen eventually.
He was having the whole conversation.
What I was saying is exactly what Bruce said, and that's we're going to find out more in episode 2, because episode 1, this premiere episode, we got to know the characters that are going to be on this season. Oh, he's got the new mic. He's got to hook that up. That's the exact mic I have. We got to know the characters that are going to be playing this season. We got some interactions. We got some emotional moments. Loggy looks like they're going to be the tribe to dominate. That purple tribe dominated both challenges right off the gate. Joe is everyone's favorite right away. I believe the green tribe is Eula or Yulu or something.
Yeah, Yulu, I believe.
Yeah, Yulu, they're going to struggle because they actually were last in every single challenge last night, both of them. So episode 2 is going to tell us a lot. We're going to be back on schedule next week. This week's a little crazy because it is the premiere week. I'll get to the rest of our schedule here in a minute. But before we do our out stuff to break it all down, and I know this is a shorter podcast, forgive us. My voice is giving out. And Bruce, he's been traveling all over the airport. Abraham just got back from vacation. So we're going to keep this one a little short and sweet, talking about the premiere. But
I'll fly the plane shortly.
Oh, Lord.
Don't do it.
Do not let Bruce
are you taking Spirit? You taking Spirit airline? Okay.
But let's go ahead and get to the fantasy standings because we can't post them on Instagram at the moment. So let me go ahead and update you guys. That's what we got. Kara is in the lead with 86. Ollie's at second with 80. Sierra's third with 79. Bruce is fourth with 71. Abraham is fifth with 66. And Josh is unfortunately back where he was last season and last with 25 points.
Man, come on, man. How did my player find an idol, didn't get voted out? Cedric is on the same. He didn't get voted out. How I get the second to the last?
Okay, everyone else's players didn't get voted out either, Abraham.
They didn't find an idol either. I don't get no credit for the idol.
Let me tell you. Star was your highest scoring player last night with 32 points. Say had 25. What hurts you is Cedric had the lowest amount of points out of everyone who's still in the game because Stephanie got negative 11, which is why Josh is at 25 points right now. Yeah. Oh. Cedric got 9 points.
But what about Say? She got to idol.
She got 25 points last night.
You good? Hold up.
No, hold on. Listen, Abraham. She also lost She lost 2 points for saying words that got bleeped out. She lost. Yep, she lost 3 points. You lose 3 points for each vote you receive. She received 2 votes, so there's -6. She lost 3 points for being referred to by another castaway as someone that can't be trusted. If someone says that about your person, you lose 3 points.
Hold up, Randy. Hold up. So basically, if you play the game of Survivor, you basically gonna be at the back of the pack. That's what you just said.
And she lost 4 points for being referred to by another castaway as a threat, target, or dangerous.
That's supposed to be the positive side of playing the game. That means you playing the game.
That's not good. You don't want to be seen as a threat.
Yeah, Abraham, don't worry about it, baby. You're doing better than you did the first round you played.
What? I won't put hands on you, Bruce, little guy. Put hands on you.
Abraham, weren't you like fifth all of last season and then ended up winning?
Hey, I'm not concerned about my W right now. We starting off the first episode. I'm gonna get the W regardless. I'm just looking at the way the points are being counted. Basically, if you're playing the game of Survivor, you're saying it's a penalty for playing the game of Survivor.
We go by the point system that Bracketology uses, so definitely jump on over there. Abraham, this is also a bad time. I still have to watch episode 3 of Survivor Australia this week, or episode 6.
I'm looking at episode. I'm on episode 2.
You're on episode 2? Wow. Bruce, are you all caught up?
I am all caught up. I'm loving it.
I got to watch episode 6, which I'm going to do later on. Bruce, so these are before episode 6. In our Survivor Australia fantasy standings, Bruce, you are second right now with 180 points, 7 points behind Matthew. Abraham, you are last with 151 points. So you're like 36 back.
Damn.
Don't get happy about nothing. It's 99 episodes in Australian Survivor, man. Stop playing.
Yeah,
I thought it was 102.
he's got plenty of time. Well, before we head out here, gentlemen, a couple things in terms of scheduling. So we will be back next week, our regular time. It's been a chaotic week because of the premiere, because I've been sick, because of Survivor Australia stuff as well. Next week, 7 p.m. Eastern time, you can watch us right here on YouTube, Survivor or SurvivorNowPodcast.com or X. Myself, Ollie, Avery will be here for the Survivor 48 pre-show before episode 2. And then myself, Bruce, Abraham, not Josh. We're going to be joined by a special guest. Josh will be gone. Oh, Abraham, are you gone next week?
I will be at Cedric's watch party next weekend.
Okay, Abraham will not be here. Me and Bruce will be here at least. We will be back here at the normal time, 9:40-ish, 9:35, 9:40, immediately once Survivor goes off the air. We will be right here on YouTube, SurvivorNowPodcast.com with the after show to break it all down. And I think next week will be a little bit better and less chaotic. This was a great show. I'm not saying it's a bad show, but it was a chaotic show. And then we got a triple header for you guys today. Thank you for joining us to watch the after show this week. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, come right back here to watch Survivor Stock Watch with Josh and Will. They will break down the power rankings. Where does everyone lie now that we've actually seen them play in an episode? That'll be tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then to round out our triple header today, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time or 7 p.m. Pacific, or if you're living in Australia, Friday at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern time. Join Matthew, Ollie, and this week she makes her debut with Survivor Now, a new team member, Valeria from Titans versus Rebels. And we're joined by a very special guest, Caroline from Titans versus Rebels. We'll all be on tonight to break down week 2 of Survivor Australia, Brains v. Brawn 2. So that is this evening, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then we do have a couple other shows this week. On Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, you can join Matthew, Ollie, and Phil for Got Something For You as they take you scene by scene to hit everything that maybe we missed. They literally go scene by scene, showing you all the images and stuff. They'll probably bring up Jeff falling, and they also look at the social media side of things. And then on Sunday, it's the gals. It's their turn to talk about the premiere of Survivor 48. Tegwith and Kara will be here at a new time this season for them, Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can catch the full schedule over on SurvivorNowPodcast.com. Gentlemen, that's it for us. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap this up?